準備よろしいでしょうか。キュビックのキダス・アスファ様によるピッチです。それではよろしくお願いします。
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kidus Asfaw. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Kubik, and I'm really happy to be here. Thanks for having us. So first off, what is Kubik? We are an environmental technology company where we're turning hard-to-recycle plastic waste into low-carbon and low-cost building materials. We've been very proudly backed by a lot of global VCs and corporate players that really believe in not only the business viability of what we do, but also the social environmental responsibility that we bring. So I'm here to tell you a little bit about that. About 5 years ago, I was on a business trip. I used to work at UNICEF. I was one of the co-leads for its innovation team. When I heard in my country, in a city that I grew up, in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, that there was an avalanche of trash. It was a very unusual feeling for me. This is a country and a city that I've lived in, but it was really interesting to know that there was so much mounting waste that the city had consumed that was negatively affecting people's lives. What I later found out is my city is not the only city that goes through this. There's over 100 cities in Africa alone that have over 1 million people. And one of their biggest challenges is how to manage waste, how to drive affordability for low-income communities, but also be less of a contributor to the biggest contributor of climate change, which is cities, specifically real estate. Real estate is 40% contributor to climate change. So at this point, I shifted my focus at UNICEF to really start thinking about what we can do in circular economy and climate change to affect positively these lower income communities. So we set up the first ever circular economy project in the Ivory Coast, where we built over 300 schools using plastic waste. My co-founder, the one next to me, and I then decided to leave and actually see how we can actually do this at a larger scale. How could we not only impact people's lives better, but how can we actually make the future of our children better through the tackle of climate change? And we brought on a lot of other very strong, talented people with a lot of global exposure, but also the conviction to do the same thing that we did. So when we started Kubik, there were 3 questions we had to answer for ourselves. Is there a market for what we're making? Is there a product that is viable? And is there a way that we would be able to sell this at scale? And this is how we thought about it. First off, there's a huge market. Just taking affordable housing as a market on its own, globally there's over 300 million housing units that are in deficit for people to be living affordably in. This is a $2.2 trillion market. And when we think about why this is not something that's being catered to, we realize that building materials are very expensive, they fluctuate a lot in cost, and real estate developers who are responsible for building them don't want to take the risk. So we needed to tackle that. And of course, second, there's this product and my friend that I brought over here. Our product is a wall, and this brick here makes one of these walls. These walls are 40% cheaper than cement. They consume 66 kilos of hard-to-recycle plastic waste, so we don't have to have that type of avalanche that we saw. But it is at least 5 times less polluting than the conventional way of building it. So we definitely had a viable product. So second was, how do we scale this? And what we realized is we're working in 3 sectors without knowing it. First off, we're recycling. On the other side, we have to be building with this. But these already exist. There are recyclers, there are real estate developers. So where do we add value? And we realize it's the technology. So this technology is done by buying plastic waste from recyclers, empowering them economically, and being able to sell it to real estate developers who already have the need for more affordable products. That way, we are able to tackle all 3 of these elements while focusing on a product that we can scale over time. I'm really proud that we're starting this back in my home where we saw that avalanche. We already have $12.5 million in contracts lined up. There's 10,000 workers that we are going to be able to empower, and 10,000 tons of hard-to-recycle plastic waste that we can recycle every year. And the part that I'm really excited about is over 250,000 square meters of wall, which equates to 100,000 tons of CO2 emissions, can be reduced every year just from that one facility. But why am I here in Japan? Our ambitions are very, very big. We do not want to be in the business of manufacturing bricks forever. We would rather have building manufacturers that already exist use our technology to scale this so that we can focus on the material science and on the product. And we believe a place and a market like Japan has the opportunity for us to collaborate well to do this at scale. And our ambition together would be to reduce up to 1 gigaton of CO2 emissions by 2040, all while being able to hit all of these milestones that we see. So just to wrap up, one of the things we've been very proud about at Kubik, we were recently named the Global Startup of the Year in Denmark. After tomorrow, we will be named by IFC as the top 3 climate tech African startups in Africa. But we have all of these great corporate and non-for-profit partners we're working with, and hopefully you will be one of them as well. Thank you.